G'day viewers. Time to find out if we were successful in increasing the world's Geophagus population by just a few, which would be a good thing. If you missed part 1, I'll put that up at the end of this video, so check that one out.
Okay viewers, we finished off the last video with our fish set up in their little love nest, and we had some dim lighting, some candlelight and some romantic music. And after only about a week, which is 6.5 days longer than what it takes Paul from Fish Northwest to have fish breed in a new tank, we had some eggs. Not the greatest amount of eggs I've ever seen, and there was a few fungusy ones in there, but like I said in the previous video, this pair had never spawned before, so I was pretty happy with that effort. And as you can see, she's over there guarding, looking after those eggs, and she won't let the male anywhere near them for some reason. Normally he'd be there defending a wider area, but she had him bailed up under that log and he wasn't coming out for love nor money.
And unfortunately, after only 2 days, she ate the eggs. So this time it wasn't meant to be. But we remain hopeful, so let's see how we get on. And after only 2 weeks, I was just on my way out the door to go to work, and I noticed she dug a really big pit around the middle rock this time, and she was cleaning it off profusely. And she had her ovipositor hanging out for the whole world to see. So I thought, well, here we go again. But unfortunately, as I said, I was just on my way out the door, so I couldn't film it. So here's a bit of file footage from before, so I can show you exactly what happens.
Here's some footage from a previous spawn I had in my big display tank with a different pair. And this is really the only time you can tell the difference in gender with these particular Geophagus. Back in the old days, you used to put a beer up one end of the tank and a phone up the other end and see which one they went to tell the difference, but that doesn't work anymore. So the female's there laying the eggs, and you can see that big ovipositor coming out, which is where the eggs come from. And then the male comes along behind and he fertilises it, and that's his equipment right there. So that's how you tell the gender of these Geophagus. So after I arrived home from work the next day, here's what I found. They'd laid eggs in the middle and Mum was there looking after the eggs, which there was a few more from last time, although it's really hard to see on that coloured rock. I should have put a darker one in there. But this time she's letting the male in there and help look after them with her, so with a bit of luck, we might have a bit more success this time than what we did last time. Now I found whenever the Geophagus spawned in the bigger tank, as soon as it got dark and those lights went out, the Geos would eat their own eggs to stop the other fish eating them. So to combat that in the other tank, I always used to put a little night light there. So that simulates the moonlight so they can see predators coming and means they won't eat their own eggs. So I thought it might be prudent just to do this one here, so that's a bit of a tip. So a couple of days later, I go and look in the tank and these eggs are gone as well. But then on closer inspection, I noticed that the female looked like she might have been holding them in her mouth. So the best way to find out is feed the tank. And you can see, there's Dad, he's up straight into the food. And Mum has a bit of a look, but she can't eat anything because she's got a mouthful of babies. So we've made it to the next step. We have them holding. And another interesting aspect of this is that they take turns holding the fry. So Mum will have them one day and then she'll transfer them over to Dad. Then he'll have them the next day. So that way they have one day in two where they can feed so they don't get too skinny and starve. So I think that is pretty impressive. Like, they invented co-parenting before it became fashionable. And after about a week, have a look at that. Aren't they just adorable? Look at those tiny little fellas there with their big eyes and their little bellies. Aren't they just beautiful? Now the parents will always keep the fry close at hand while they're this small, and if one strays away they'll go and pick it up and bring it back to the group. But what makes Geophagus the best parents in the fish world is that as soon as there's a threat, they wiggle their fins and all the fry will congregate in, and they'll take them all back in their mouth until it's safe to let them back out again. And they'll also hold them in their mouths overnight to keep them safe. But as soon as the threat's gone, spit them back out. Just like that. And watch what happens when I try and use a turkey baster to feed some brine shrimp. They don't know what it is, but they're going to attack it anyway just to keep their babies safe. And after the fry have had a feed of baby brine shrimp, look at their little orange bellies all nice and full. And for all those fish nerds out there, or anyone interested in keeping or breeding Geophagus, I'll quickly run through the parameters that I have here. I keep the water at about 26 degrees Celsius, which is roughly, I think, about 79 degrees Fahrenheit for those who haven't caught up yet. And it's super soft because I use rainwater, so there's pretty much no TDS at all. And the pH is somewhere around 6.4. And I prefer to feed these guys flake because that way it breaks up really small and ends up in the substrate and they can pick through it, because if you give them pellets, they really struggle to eat the pellets because they've only got little mouths and they're used to sifting through that substrate looking for small bits and pieces. And I'll get my flakes from Fish Keeper's Choice if you're in Australia. And I supplement that with just some tin green beans mostly because they're soft, and the geos, because they're bottom feeders, they ingest a lot of plant matter, so they really need that fibre. And occasionally they might get a few frozen bloodworms or a few brine shrimp, which they really, really love. And I didn't need to do a massive water change or a cold water change to drop the temperature or anything like that to encourage spawning. I just let things tick along as normal water changes, and when these guys were ready, off they went. Simple as that. Well viewers, hopefully I've covered everything, but if I haven't, or if you have any questions, feel free to fire away down below. I'd love to hear from you. Well, if you like leaving likes, leave a like, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. What? You're still here? The video's over. Go home. But watch this first. Go. Go.